I want to talk some more about autism. And it I'm gonna approach it ooh. With an analogy and when you think of the colors of things that you're looking at, like the leaves on a tree in spring being this vibrant green, this wonderful life-affirming green, and you see the color, and that is just the color. It is part of the definition. And when you talk to somebody else about the color green, you all know that leaves are green. You know that United States money is green. Lots of street signs here are green. There's at least a consistency between what counts as green and what doesn't. And maybe you end up arguing over what's green, blue, teal, like there are variations, but you know, like green is green. But the weird part, and the thing that's hardest to internalize, is the idea that what's green for me, like what shows up as green in my image, that fundamental definition of green, might look purple to someone else's brain. And it just fits naturally in there as purple, and maybe they see purple as orange, and you know, like maybe it's all mixed up. Compared to you, the person who is thinking about this. So I mean, give that a moment, think about it a little bit. Like, the world looks totally normal to you, it looks totally normal to the other person, but what our brains are doing with the information might be different. Like, if their brain, with their eyes and their optical centers of their brain were wired to yours, and it was sending the images, those images might look completely different. Like the shapes, I imagine, would be the same, but the colors, there's no reason to think that the interpretation is exactly the same from person to person. So using that, I want to bring it back to autism, where for my entire life, my brain has felt to me as normal, like green is green. But I've also always had a really hard time understanding other people's decisions or understanding how they are capable of things that I am not capable of. Because I had the baseline assumption, bad assumption, that fundamentally our brains are all the same. And I knew that intelligence could be different, but how we process things, it didn't really occur to me that could be wildly different also. And of course, autism is essentially just a different wiring of the brain. It's not better or worse on the whole. There are benefits and hindrances as well. But green is not necessarily green when you're comparing two brains. That's all I was trying to get to. So, autism is well misunderstood by some people in the public space, even called a disease. It's caused by something that can be cured, and that's not only ridiculous, but also offensive to those of us that are autistic. I just think differently. I don't have a disease. Now, yeah, granted, I am high-functioning autistic, and I've been alive long enough to have developed my coping mechanisms, my trained interaction skills, where I know that other people expect certain things in certain situations, and so I adjust my behavior accordingly. But I am still fundamentally autistic. My brain is still thinking those things differently than a normal person. And I'll try to come up with some examples. is sarcasm and wit. This is in conversations, group social interactions, where I am not witty. I do not have the quick reaction to conversation that allows those funny comments and comebacks that other people seem to find easy. Their brains work differently than mine. As a kid, as a teenager, when I was seeing my friends and other people in my classes make these comments, I was jealous of it because it seemed like these were the most liked people, including by girls who would date these witty people. And for a long time I thought, like, am I stupid? Am I just too slow to be capable of such a thing? But I also knew myself to be intelligent. I always tested well. I picked up subjects insanely easily. Like math classes, the other students would come to me to ask me to explain it to them when the teacher wasn't communicating the idea very well. And so I helped a lot of other students with math because it just sort of clicked with me. The teacher could say it. I would think it through and realize, oh, this is what they mean when they're saying that. And then it became internalized, and so my brain works really well for math. But it doesn't work well. Oh, whoops, I'm not getting off the highway here. Doesn't work well for implied meaning, wit, and sarcasm. I mentioned it when I was talking about internalizing math. I take in the information and I process it. I think it through, and that takes time. And come to conclusions, and maybe then can explain things in different ways. Explain that same thing in different ways that make it easier for other people to understand. When someone makes a comment in a conversation and a witty comeback is available, I can't do that because I take in the information, process it, and then maybe can come up with a thoughtful response, but never a comedic response. And moving on a little bit to bring that back into sarcasm, I've always hated sarcasm. I hate it. I find it to be offensive. It's never a supportive comment. Sarcasm is a means of humor at the expense of someone. Like making a sarcastic comment about something somebody just said or did or whatever. Means that person is being insulted, is being cut down in order for the humor, in order for the sarcasm to make sense. Just sort of, oh, that was a smart thing to do. Or, gosh, did you have to go to school to figure that one out? Or, like, sarcasm to me is rude. And it is admittedly partly because I'm so bad at understanding subtlety. Subtle cues and implied meaning go over my head most of the time. It doesn't make sense to me that it might even be possible for sarcasm to be gentle. Like, is that possible? It just seems inconsiderate to me. And whenever I've tried to use sarcasm, like I've tried practicing it to see if I could participate in conversations that way, it always comes out, or it feels mean to me. Like I feel like, and maybe it is because I'm so bad at it, that I am actually being mean. Like I pick something that I know is a weakness of the person I'm talking to, or latch on to some mistake they just made, or something they're self-conscious about, and make a sarcastic comment, and it feels mean. Yeah, so I don't use sarcasm. Except in very exaggerated ways. And then I frequently feel the need to make clear that I was being sarcastic after the fact. Yeah, I don't like sarcasm. And I think that that's relatively indicative of at least my form of autism, or my level of autism. And I would guess that it's a similar thing for some other autistic people, where we don't know how to participate in sarcasm and find it off-putting. I think related to is my overwhelming desire to be clear in my communication. I don't like or understand implied meaning, so I want to be sure that no one is hearing what I'm saying and thinking there's an implied meaning. Like, maybe I'm using a word that I don't consider to have implied meaning, but like somebody else may hear that word only used a certain way, and so they think I'm trying to use it that same way. So I try very hard to over-explain all the time. And that means I end up with long-winded videos that are 15 to 20 minutes long. And it means, too, that where other people can talk back and forth very quickly and just seem to understand each other, I feel like if I get a chance to talk, I get interrupted when people think they know what I'm going to say, but I haven't actually made my point yet. So talking to people back and forth is difficult for me because people tend to want to go faster than I do. And yeah, I just being autistic has made me very careful about my communication. And that carefulness does not lend itself well to the way most other people seem to communicate. If you know someone like me that you care about and want to learn more about or want to have more meaningful conversations with, slow your own conversation down. Definitely participate. I'm not asking you to not talk. I'm saying slow it down and really think about what they said, not what your brain latched onto quickly. And give them a chance to process things their own. Let them sit there quietly. It's okay for there to be silence. And then give them a chance to express what their processing led them to. And you may find that to just be frustrating for you, and you don't want to do it. But you might also find a new level of communication with someone that is like me. And I, and people like me, I believe, have been trying for a very long time to try to figure out how best to communicate, how to participate in the general populace. I hope that was interesting, and thank you for listening.